Hey guys, this is my in-service video on the digital ureteroscope, the Storz digital ureteroscope. This is the reusable one. So just to let you guys know, this little orange folder, which was on the system cart, it has a tab that says digital ureteroscope on it. I'm not clicking you guys off. And it should provide the step-by-step on how to hook it up if you're ever in a bind. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so for your digital, the Storz Digital Ureteroscope, the three main things that you need to do a digital ureteroscope case, or when you're asking for it, the surgeon's asking for it, is number one, you need this blue light cart, because what lives on the blue light cart that you're going to be using for this case is the actual ureteroscope camera head box. That's the only box on this whole thing that you'll be using if you're doing a digital ureteroscope. So as you can see, it says Storz Digital Ureteroscope. That's the camera box. This is the main piece out of the whole thing, okay? Thing will be your actual tray. It's going to say Storz Video Ureteroscope. It lives on the bottom shelf by OR3. It's between OR3 and OR1. It's on the urology cart between OR3 and OR1. So it's on the bottom of the shelf. And of course, if you're already doing a cysto, you'll have a downward Storz camera. If you do not have one in the beginning, because you guys were using Striker, that's okay. Go ahead and open the downward camera setup, because you'll be needing that, because the Storz downward camera head is the camera head that allows you to switch from a regular cysto view to the digital ureteroscope view. Okay, so those are the three main players for this. So once you have all your equipment in the room, it's time to start setting this sucker up. So just so you know, when you bring in your blue light cart, you do not plug it in immediately. There's actually certain steps that you have to go through prior to plugging it in. Just to let you guys know, I did label the power cord. So this is the main power cord. Do not plug it in. The step that you're gonna do is actually, you're gonna come out of this by hitting the X. You wanna get to the screen that allows you to hit presets. So once you're at the main Striker screen, you're gonna go down to the corner here. You're gonna hit presets, and then you're gonna hit Storz all monitors. This is just getting you ready so that way you can use the digital ureteroscope. You have to make sure you do this prior to hooking anything up. You can see after I hit the preset and I changed everything to Storz on the big screen and on the monitors, it should flash Storz on there. The second step that you'll be doing is you're gonna be walking over to the boom. You're gonna look for the box that says image 1, and you're actually gonna turn it off. I know it says do not turn off camera box. You're actually gonna turn it off. Okay? So you can see you have color bars after you turn it off. Once you turn off your camera box, you wanna hook up the HDMI cable. That's the cable that connects the digital ureteroscope box to the regular camera box on your boom. So your HDMI cable, I went ahead and labeled it. It says HDMI ureter. This is the cable that's gonna connect to the back of the image 1 box. So let me go ahead and just untangle this. All right, so now that it's untangled, HDMI ureter cable cord, you're gonna actually plug it in to the back of your image 1 box. So your image 1 box is this one up top here. And you're gonna see, here, you're gonna see it says link in. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Okay, it says link in. You're gonna plug in this HDMI reader box. So now I plugged it in. You'll hear it kind of snap in a little, but just be mindful that if it's too loose, you won't get an image. So as you can see, it's in slot 2 on the back of the image 1 box. So now it's plugged. Once the HDMI cable is plugged in, that's when you'll go ahead and plug in the power cord that turns on all the boxes here on the blue cart. So you're gonna grab the power cord, which I labeled as best as I could, paracord. You can just go ahead and just plug it into the back of the boom or wherever you have a power source. All right, so once you plug in the main power cord on the back of the blue light cart, you're gonna come back to the front of your boom, go back to where it says image 1 and turn it back on. Once you turn it on, you're gonna notice that the screen is loading. Now, it should say eventually multi-camera function on the screen. It's gonna flash and then it might go away. But that's how you know you're on the right trail here. Let's see if it says it this time. It's still loading. It takes a little bit. And we're waiting. While we're waiting, we gotta make sure that the digital ureteroscope is open. There's nothing missing from it. It's not broken or anything. Okay, so now we have the screen. As you can see, that where it says link 2 and H3 link. Okay, so as you can see now, the second box here has changed from link 2 and it now says X link. So now your equipment is ready. You always want to make sure that your preset's set to X-Link preset, and the way you're able to change that is you use the keyboard that's on your boom, right there, and the mouse pad is that black square in the right bottom corner. And that's how you're able to move around and change it to X-Link. So now that you have your patient in the room, obviously there's no patient here right now, we're gonna actually plug in our regular downward camera. So I'm gonna plug that in and we'll show you how it looks. I have here Rob assisting. Yep, up here. So this is your regular downward camera. So this part is the part when they're just doing regular cysto, and as you can see, the image has come up. You get the full screen image. Okay. So now you're doing cysto. So imagine that the cystoscope is attached to this camera head, and all of a sudden the doctor says, okay, I'm ready to use the digital ureteroscope. So that's when you pop open this puppy, and we're gonna actually plug in the digital ureteroscope. Now be very gentle with this, guys. This is our best friend. So the digital ureteroscope plugs into the digital ureteroscope video box there on the blue light.
What shortcut do you have to switch over?
It's gonna be the top left button. So to toggle the screen from the downward camera to the digital ureteroscope, you're gonna hit the top left button. Okay.
There we go.
So now we change the image from the regular cystoscope or the regular downward camera to the digital ureteroscope view. And the way you can tell is that the image on here has gotten a little smaller, but as you can see, it looks like a square image. That's what you're looking for to tell that you're actually using the digital ureteroscope. So that is the digital ureteroscope. And once they're done with the digital ureteroscope, say, hey, I want to go back to my regular cystoscope.
You should be able to push the top left on this too.
Okay. Let's see. You're going to hit the top left button on the digital ureteroscope to go back to your cystoscope use. Okay? And that is how you use the digital ureteroscope and hook it up. Thank you.